Okay, so there is so much noise in the skincare space. People telling you what to use, what not to use, ingredients to know. It's impossible to keep up, so overwhelming. You must see it all with your clients in clinic.
All the time.
So what are some of the things that you hear often and that really irk you?
So you asked me for my 5 sort of pet peeves about skincare. And at first I was thinking, God, I've got a couple, but then suddenly they just sort of all came flooding out.
Okay, so the first pet peeve that you gave me is physical facial scrubs. Now, firstly, what is a physical scrub?
So those are products that have a slightly grainy texture, beads, might be apricot kernels, whatever it is in, to actually physically scrub away the top layer of skin. I just feel in this day and age, with all the advances that we have, that physical scrubs are just obsolete. I think that we've got so many better ways of actually refining the top layer of skin. So you can either use an AHA, which more gently dissolves something away, or you can use a retinoid, which speeds up the cell turnover. Why would you then go and actually scrub away the top layer of your skin? I think it's just too crude a technique.
And your pet peeve number 2, oils.
Absolutely. So in clinic, I see so many people who are coming in and using oils, and it's causing a lot of pore blockage. So I see women who've got lots and lots of blocked pores, and they're using either an oil cleanser or a leave-on oil. And I just think on the whole, the oils, they're not as good as well-formulated moisturizers to repair the skin barrier. So I really do not routinely include them in a skincare regime.
Is there ever a time or a place for an oil?
I think hair. So for this sort of area of our hair, which is an ongoing sort of living structure, it's actually sort of dead keratin. Sometimes for the body, where you don't have as many sebaceous glands, so it can't block the pores, it can be okay. But on the whole, I am not a massive fan of oils.
And pet peeve number 3 is people equating clean beauty to natural plant-based products. What do you mean by that?
So over the last few years, this whole concept of clean beauty, i.e. using natural products on the skin, has really gained a huge amount of traction. You must see this all the time.
All the time.
But we know that actually, when we're looking at what our skin needs, it doesn't really matter whether a product is sort of natural or whether it's synthetic. What we want in skincare is ethical, sustainable products which reflect the natural biology of the skin. So we want things that are physiological, because actually we find that a lot of plant-based products can be really irritant. So lots of the essential oils and things like that we see can actually really irritate the skin. So I think the focus of something, when we talk about sort of clean beauty, it shouldn't necessarily mean natural. It should mean, like I said, ethical, sustainable, and physiological.
And number 4, blackhead strips. Now, I see them all the time on TikTok and Instagram. They are so satisfying to watch. Do they actually work?
No. I mean, they are really, the concept of them is really satisfying. Can you imagine if you just sort of managed to rip something off and there you go, all your congestion went, it would be amazing. But the problem is that blackheads really come from sort of quite deep down. So basically you get a bit of pore blockage, which happens at a deeper level, and then sometimes the surface pigments sort of sit on the top. And by using blackhead strips, you're literally just skimming the surface. And also then you can damage the rest of the skin as well. So there are plenty of products like BHA, salicylic acid, retinoids, which can actually get deeper down, but they just don't have that instant gratification.
And finally, and I totally am with you on this one, cellulite and stretch mark creams.
Yeah, hate those. So cellulite, because to be honest, 90% of women will have some degree of cellulite. It sort of comes with having estrogen. So the first thing is to try and normalize a little bit of the whole pattern of cellulite. But also cellulite is a problem with the way that fat is distributed. And for a cream to actually get down and change that fat distribution, it's never going to happen. So don't waste your money on cellulite creams. Similarly with stretch marks, that's a shearing of the elastic tissue, and that happens at quite a deep level. So creams won't necessarily solve those.
Thank you so much for sharing your top 5 pet peeves. Now we all know what to steer clear of.